there's a really cool intersection of short form games like one-shots or short story arcs and the long form drawn out campaign that might take weeks, months, or years come together and overlap. And that is really exciting to me as a DM to sort of explore and investigate. Hello friends, today on the DnDaily vlog, I'm going to take a look at the differences and some of the fun things we can expect between a short campaign or a one-shot and a more long drawn-out campaign that lasts maybe weeks, months, or even years. Let's get right into it. Here we go. The way I see this is simple. There is a pretty basic difference between what you're going to get and what you can expect in a one-shot, and even to some degree in a short arc, as opposed to a campaign that lasts many weeks, months, or even years, and countless sessions, let's say 20 or 50 or 100 sessions or more of playtime. If you look at the basics, obviously time is the main factor. In a one-shot, you're given, 3 to 4 hours or so for you to introduce your character and develop that character and then resolve anything with that character. It's not really going to happen. What's more likely to happen is you're going to have a fun time. You're going to get to maybe try out some fun mechanics, try on a new personality or a new voice or accent, or just a new character that you've been wanting to try and see what that's like. And maybe you might bring that character into a longer campaign. And that's about it. There's exploration, maybe there's a trick or puzzle or something to solve, and some combat. And that's pretty much what you can expect in a one-shot. It's almost like sitting down to play a board game. You're going to have fun, and there's going to be some kind of resolution at the end of the session. I believe that mostly holds true with short story arcs as well. Although there is going to be, let's say you play 5 sessions, there are going to be a chance for you to develop your character a little more. Maybe you might have 1 or 2 or even a few of the players in the group have some background story elements that come into the story, even in a short arc. There's more that can be done. And at the same time, it's still going to probably feel pretty concise, where there's a build-up and a challenge, climax, and what have you, and then a resolution. That might happen in each session, and then you're still going to have, over the course of that short arc, the same thing, the kind of the introduction, the build-up, and the resolution over the arc. Now, when we get into a long-form campaign, it's a completely different animal. It's a completely different monster. And I think this is true regardless of whether it is all homebrew material, whether it's a long module that you're playing, or whether it's a mix of the both. When you get into a long campaign, here's where the characters develop, hopefully, over the course of the campaign. Here's where more elements of the background of the character can be interwoven into the story. Here's where, as a DM, we can weave story threads that play out slowly over time, where we can drop little nuggets of foreshadowing, or maybe questions that don't get answered for many sessions, and there's this longer, more involved story that gets told. In fact, what's kind of interesting about these long form adventures or campaigns is that in fact many different stories are going to be told and come to resolution. It's almost like you're going to have this kind of porpoising thing where you might have these small story arcs, right? Where maybe a short arc might take, again, 1 to 3 to 5 sessions, but then you have the bigger story arc, the overarching story that takes the whole course of the campaign. You have these these layers and layers of intrigue, and not only layers of intrigue, there's probably going to be multiple questions that may get answered over the course of the campaign, or may just be these hanging questions that are partly driving the campaign, which I think is pretty cool. I've experienced it from the player side of the screen, and I love that. I love those sort of big questions of okay, how do we defeat this demon lord when we're only second or third level characters? And the challenge of building yourself up and getting the tools like magic items and so forth, and the skills and such, and building that over a story. I love that element of this game, and I love to watch it in other, when I watch streams and so forth. It's fun to explore and to be teased with these questions that maybe don't get answered for many weeks or months or even years. The long con, if you will. So you don't get that in a one-shot. This might be kind of obvious. The reason I'm talking about it today is that I am in this position where I just wrapped up. So I have 2 games that I'm running, essentially. One on Monday nights, one on Thursday nights. The Monday night game is right at the sort of early stages of building into Princes of the Apocalypse. We're in it. We're fully in it, but there's so much that has not been revealed or discovered or is yet to come in that. And so that's exciting for me. And the Thursday game, we pretty much just wrapped Princes of the Apocalypse, so just in the end of this last year in 2019. And so now I'm going to take a short break. One of the other members of our group is going to run games for a little while. In fact, I'm excited because we're playing Lost Mines and the Dragon of Icespire Peak sort of mixed together, which is super cool and fun. And I'm looking forward to that because I love being a player. And so while he's running that for us, in the meantime, I'm going to be talking with the other players about their characters, finding out what do they want to develop? What do they want to see their character explore or experience, or what from their backstory have we not touched on that maybe they'd love to see come into the game as we move forward, because I absolutely want to bring them from level 12 to level 20. That's where they're at right now, and this is exciting. So now, as I look forward into creating the campaign as we go forward, I've realized for me, after running the Princes of the Apocalypse pretty much all the way through, I think they started at 2nd or 3rd level, and then, or at least the primary characters that started it and went all the way through it with me, because we've had a few players kind of come in and out. And I think they started at 2nd, maybe 3rd level, and went all the way up to now they're level 12. So I really want to think about moving forward to not having this necessarily long arc that plays out week to week. I definitely want some longer threads, although I think what I've learned is that I'm going to use shorter arcs, shorter plots and stories and within the bigger picture. Maybe we're going to focus on one player's sort of story for a few sessions, and then we'll switch over to maybe somebody else's story for a few sessions. And it's going to be fun for me to sort of devise new ways to intertwine all of those together to make one bigger story that we get to see run its course as these characters go from 13 up to 20. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. It's definitely going to be a subject of future DnDaily vlogs as I sort of progress through that learning and through that experience. I'm just sort of looking ahead to where there's a really cool intersection of short form games like one-shots or short story arcs and the long form drawn out campaign that might take weeks, months, or years come together and overlap. And that is really exciting to me as a DM to sort of explore and investigate how I can take short arcs or even single session stories, if you will, and interweave those into longer form, the long format of taking characters, the same characters, through an entire campaign development. And that's what's on my mind today, which is why I decided to share it with you all here on the vlog. I am curious if you have any insights and thoughts about it. I'd love to hear all about that in the comments on the video. Check out that video right there next. I'll see you at a table someday. And remember, it's your game, play your way.